Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome from America, Australia, and Asia. So I'm just going to invite all of us to just gather together in circle. And just take a big breath together. Just let go of everything from this morning so far in Asia, from the day that we have had here in the US, and half of the day in Australia. And just relax in our bodies. Just to comfortably relax into our beautiful feminine bodies. Feel the lusciousness of that quiet silence. And I also just love seeing all your beautiful faces. There's nothing like the shininess of a woman's beautiful face. So, as we're relaxing together as women, as sisterhood, I want to welcome each of you again. And I invite you just to tune into your heart about what it is that's important to you about sisterhood. And what is it that you would like for yourself and all the women around the globe? And I also invite you to tune in to what support you would like to receive today from all the women that are here. Something special in your heart that's coming up that you would love to have support for. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies, for that moment. And I so appreciate that moment because it's energy that all of you that supports me to bring me back to who I am. But sometimes I lose from the busyness of the day. So I'd like to invite all of you, and how I would like to start is that if we can each take a minute or two just to share our names, where we're from, and also our genius profiles, okay? And for those of you who are new, I invite you just to share what inspired you to join us. And for the others, I would like to just to let us know what support it is that you would like at this point right now. Revolving around the gem work. What would help you in terms of a conversation around your genius or your passions? Okay? And after that, after we've had a chance for everybody to get to know each other, then let's really dive in and see how we can support each other. All right, so I really want to welcome back Lynette and also Joanna. And it's great to have you back. And some of the other ladies are away this week, and they'll be back next week. Some of the women that we had, like Wendy, she's traveling this week. And also I'd like to invite, welcome Jan, who's a co-facilitator with me this week. As we said, this is really peer sharing among women. So therefore, we're going to, first of all, the lusciousness of this meeting is that there's so much wisdom. I always go away from each meeting so nurtured and fulfilled because of the wisdom that comes from every woman. And we really want to share this because this is like, many of you are in the mentoring program, right? So here's a great opportunity for you to be mentoring other women. So every week we're going to be have a co-facilitator, and eventually, I don't even need to facilitate. Right? So many of you like to co-facilitate, just volunteer. All right. So Jan, thank you so much for being a co-facilitator here this time. So Deborah, so I'm going to invite you to share like where you're from, your profile, and anything that you would love to have support from women this week.
My name's Deborah Shalette Wilson. I live in Northeast Texas, the Pine Tree Country is what we call it. And my profile, my genius is ablaze. And so my life has really always been about people and doing what I can to make wherever I am better for me having been there. When you were mentioning about the sisterhood, I thought, I do have sisters, but we really, because of a lot of things, but we just really haven't been close. So when you said sisterhood, I thought, I don't really know what that is.
Mm.
So just being in all of y'all's presence is really a support for me, because I've been in this secluded rural area, doing what I do, but not really getting nurtured very much, or having other women really to connect with and to get their wisdom and nurturing. So just y'all being y'all is cool for me.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. And I just love that Texan accent of yours. That is so sweet. That is so sweet. So, Johanna, would you like to share from the Philippines?
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Johanna from Manila. I live in the capital of the Philippines. I was here last week. I mentioned that I have a creator dynamo profile. Similar to Deborah, I'm here because I did not grow up with sisters. So I love the idea of being around women who are very entrepreneurial. I love that mix because I have a very artistic, soft like tendency, or like that's how I am naturally. So it helps to see women who are very like in a sense entrepreneurial. For me, I think of it as a very male energy, but here we are, women trying to be very successful in that world. So how do we merge that? I mean, being around women who are striving towards that, it's something very interesting, and I hope I can contribute also to that space.
Oh, thank you, Johanna. And is there anything that will come back to you that we can support you with this week? Anything that's in your mind up for you?
So this week, it's still the same struggle for me. I can't balance everything that I want to do. So I think it's the creator profile. I have to do so many things in my head. So it's really a matter of balancing. I'm struggling with that. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Let's come back to that. Okay.
Okay.
Really look
Thank
at the profile and then how we can.
Okay.
So
Thank
Lynette,
you.
you look like you're ready. Yes, Joanna, welcome back again. Lynette, you look like you're ready to talk.
I'll always talk, darling.
I can see you kind of like,
I'm always ready to talk.
This is what's so nice. We can wiggle among ourselves without like being concerned how the men are going to interpret that, right?
Well, I'm going to say hello, everyone, and this is my second week, so it's lovely to be back. And I look glamorous because I've just come out of a swimming pool, so I'm just a little bit wet. And it's interesting that the lovely lady from Texas was saying she has sisters, but she's not connected. And Joanna from the Philippines didn't feel it. And I'm an only child, so no sisters or brothers. So it's really lovely being part of this very proactive and supportive sisterhood of women from all over the world, which is really great. Well, you've guessed it, I'm a Blaze, and I'm a star supporter, so I talk a lot, so feel free to tell me to shut up. And the thing I'm going to give to you before I ask is I'm writing a book, and it's nearly finished, so I'm a little bit excited. But I have an acronym for you all to take away today, and it's Be Your Own Lover. Now, what that stands for is love yourself as you are right now unconditionally. Own who you are. Own who you are right now. Doesn't matter, good, bad, blah, blah, blah. Toss it in the bin. Own who you are. Value yourself. Embrace yourself and all your beauty. And respect yourself, as good old Aretha Franklin would sing to us, but I won't sing because I'm very bad. And so what I would like from this beautiful group is I want all your positive vibes and your positive energy so I can finish my book. That's it.
First of all, I love your theme. I love your theme. All right.
Thank you.
The ladies with us, that's been in our Heart of All Women private community. We have spent time talking about how really that's so much the bottom line.
Yeah.
How we can just love ourselves. So
yeah.
I would love to support that. All right.
Thank you.
I'm talking to you about it, supporting you to finish it. And then when you're ready to come out with your book, support you with that too.
Love it. Would love it. Yes.
So that is great. So let me see. Marilyn, you look like you're ready to. Would you like to share, please?
Okay. I unmuted myself. Well, thank you for letting me come after Lynette, because I'm so excited about all this. And especially, and that's where I am right now, is in a place of owning who I am right now. And I am ablaze, and I've always run groups for women, and kind of created a sisterhood, but never really felt like I had a sisterhood. And I have two sisters, and I really don't understand sisterhood from a real sister relationship. But it's my husband had been sick for a number of years, and now he's getting better. His health is improving, and so now I'm in a place where I need to figure out who I am again. And that's why it resonates with me about owning who I am right now. Mm-hmm. And then just opening to what is yet to, what is coming. And I'm just excited about it. So very excited about what the possibilities are for me.
Oh, Marilyn, I'm so touched by your share. Okay. And I'm really so excited because, with the passion and the purpose, mm-hmm. I'm going to be actually recording the section on the purpose, like this week or next week for all of you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, because like you said, now you want to discover who you are, the passion test and the purpose, that is going to be so beautiful for you to put that, mm-hmm. And then we're all here to support you with that. So I'm just really excited.
I'm going to own who I am right now.
Yeah, so I'm really kind of curious to see what comes up for you for your passion test. Okay.
Oh, I've taken the passion test, and what comes up is the strongest one is spirit, and I've been involved in meditation and all that sort of thing, and Stargate and whatever, and then creativity. And then freedom is another one that's very strong, because I cannot be told what to do, and I cannot be, I have to be free.
I think that's the case for a lot of us here.
Yeah.
Right? I think when we look at ours, I can see the heads nodding, like Joanna's nodding her head. That's why we're entrepreneurs, right? And then, there's that girl's attitude, like, the males and the men or the boys in our classes we were growing up. Let's make us who we are, But, well, Marilyn, thank you. And, let's come back to you a bit today, okay? Like, where could you use some support this week for us to support you in this thing that, that you're getting? So, so Mayumi, so welcome. It's great to have you. So, yes. So, tell us, what inspired you to join us, and also what is your genius?
So I'm based in San Diego, California, and I'm a creator dynamo, very creator dynamo, 60% dynamo. I was inspired mostly because I have been sort of redefining myself over quite a while. I'm always sort of in the self-discovery process, but as of late, I've really been committed to redefining myself from being a social entrepreneur to being a social innovator, and changing the paradigm from which I lead in any type of business environment or a venture or an innovation. And I'm really committed to coming from and growing in my divine feminine. Everything I've learned, everything that I've mastered in this whole game has all been very masculine driven. And I'm discovering that though it's natural for us to come from that divine feminine, it's not practiced. And so I'm, constantly doubting that inner voice, and I'm not even sure who's talking half the time. And, there's just so much to it that I think there's not enough conversations or community that encourage and empower us to live from our truest nature. And to have success from that place. So that's, I was just drawn. Ruby and I got connected very recently because we want to bring Roger to the U.S. So those of you based in the U.S., invite you to be part of that conversation too. And I saw her post and I just thought, well, this is the conversation I'm in. I'm going to follow the white rabbit. And here I am with this amazing group of women having a conversation. And I really don't know what to expect. So I'm here to really listen and see what this particular group is about, and that's it. And be of value however I can, but really mostly just to listen and to be a contribution however I can.
Mayumi, I'm so glad you brought up the feminine, the divine feminine, okay? Because that is such a huge inspiration for the heart of all women, and for why we're doing this. Is because we love Roger's work, and then we're saying, well, how do we want to look at it from our feminine perspective, right? So it's not a criticism of his work at all, but he's a very masculine man. So we're saying, how do we want to do our version of it? How do we want to do conversations around it? And what you say is something that many of us, and it's really interesting, I'm going to invite Jan to share afterward, is because we do ask that question, is that, we've been in such a masculine environment, and we've sort of like have had to do it on our own, or we've kind of sold out and become a little masculine, which hurts, because that's our natural self. So I am just so delighted to welcome you. And, and our purpose is very simple. We just want to provide a nurturing, safe place where women can come and just be with each other. So your comment saying that you just here to be, you're right, in the right place to just be, because we're not about you might notice on the post, people are saying, no, let's get accountability partners and all this kind of stuff. No, we're not doing that here. We're just saying, let's just sit together in sisterhood. And where do you need support? And I have gotten so much support just from that, just from hearing every single woman. So we're doing it our way. We're sitting around like a virtual kitchen table, except it's a virtual Zoom room. So I'm delighted that you saw that post and you decided to join us today. Okay. And again, just a nice resting place. So, Jan.
As I've been listening to everybody, I'm Jan Rose Distill, and I'm in Northern California, Bay Area, like Ruby. As I've been listening to everybody, what also I think connects all of us is that we're seekers. We're truly seeking a renewed or new self, trying to understand what that self wants to be, and knowing that the feminine has to be part of it. Obviously, we're all women, except, as Mayumi said so well, we don't get to see ourselves very much in truly the deep divine feminine. We know that what we're seeing, even within ourselves, is some version of us trying to figure that out, as we are so much in a world that is predominantly masculine in how it is organized, just is. That's where we are in this particular time period, rather than 30,000 years ago when it was our time in many, many other places. So my seeking has been, and I'm a blaze and a star. So Lynette, I'm right there with you. If it was 2 years ago, I would be talking to you about 40 15-minute television programs that I produced in a season, and I was going 200 miles an hour and very, very much like, okay, deadlines, this, that, yes, got to. And my masculine was in high gear, with also all around the feminine in terms of, but the masculine to produce that. And when the election happened in our country, I had 6 weeks left to go, and it was such a kick in the stomach for me. It was so profound that I knew I needed to stop and really start to speak again in a different way. And I've been on that journey, and my journey takes me towards energy. I'm in the second half of my life, and I have turned into an energy junkie in terms of physical, what is it that really makes a difference? And I really, really look for this rather than 900 things. And I'm a dancer, and I perform and have the joy of doing that, but I have to walk my talk or dance my talk because I'm out there and it's either working or not. And then the emotional and the spiritual things that are blocking us. So sisterhood, my only sister died 15 years ago. And my spirit sister, who taught me probably the most about sisterhood, was a woman who was put into a nunnery when she was 16 by her father, who didn't know what else to do with her. And by 30, her whole order had been taken out of the Catholic Church. And that's who taught me about sisterhood, was this revolutionary nun who was my first friend here, and a deep, deep speaker of goddess culture. And
Great.
And I'm very blessed. So new sisters here. So thank you.
Thank you, Jan. So God, it looks like sisterhood is up. So let's talk about how we can use this work to help us even deepen with our sisterhood. Okay. And then I'd like to also, talk. Let's support Johanna and her question, which I think is relevant for a lot of us. And also to I'm kind of doing a girl thing. I'm forgetting about myself, right? So I was a reluctant Blaze, and it's been the women who've helped me to step more and more into Blaze. Okay. And the reason I was a reluctant Blaze, because it brought up some pain for me about being a Blaze that I didn't think I could fulfill. I'm not going to go into that. When we talk about how some of us, like, we've had conversations about how some of us kept on retaking the test because we didn't want to be what the test results showed. Okay. We won't go into that. So, but I'm really stepping more and more into my Blaze. And where I would like to receive support is just, oh my gosh, that moment of quiet that we all had in the beginning. The moment of nurturing. I want to be able to feel that and experience that even as we're talking and sharing that together. So that's what I would love to have support, that we're connected in that deeper heart to heart and silence, even as we're speaking and sharing with each other. So that's interesting. I wasn't planning to say that, and that just kind of came out of nowhere. So thank you all for providing the space for that. So Joanna, so you were talking about how you're being a creator and
Mm-hmm.
you would like support around that. So tell us, what's happening and where could you use some support around
Well, like I shared last week, project is to put up a creative community for both entrepreneurs and artists, and that's like been an idea for a long time. And my cash flow business is real estate. So I've been in sales for real estate for 17 years, and right now it's really a balance between like making the community fly while still doing my current business, and my personal life is also taking like huge like changes. There are huge changes there. So how do I balance all of that and still be like, because my personality is when I'm into something new, I get really intense about it and drop everything else. So it's really been a struggle trying to hold everything together. And I don't know how you guys do it, but most of us are blazes. I guess like the tempo energy is something that I really do not know how to manage. Yeah. So I don't know how to slow down. Yeah.
that? Is the issue that you're really running out of time, or is the issue that like that you need more support to help you move forward, like some temple people or that? Or is it
I
a
mean,
time issue?
I think right now I'm not in the space to like delegate tasks, but so it's a matter of time management, I think, for me. But I don't know how to set boundaries. I'm thinking about it, listening to everyone else. I think boundaries. I don't know when to like say, okay, time for business, time for personal, time for socials. Yeah, how do you ladies do that? I mean, we're so giving of our time. I think time for me is like the resource that I have to learn how to manage. Like any like heads up on how you guys manage like setting boundaries for your time.
Yes, yes. The word divine and selfish, I think, need to come together for women. So, divine selfishness, that it really is divine for you to make a decision for yourself that is the right decision for your time, your energy, your balance, and to be able to express that as uh, I would love to help you later, or I would be available because now or whenever it is, I need to do this. And I know that you would understand that, and just to assume, because if we don't take, make that time for ourselves, very few other people will make that time for us. They will fill it in. It's my
Okay.
experience, especially
Okay.
children who truly believe that they own all of your time.
Thank
I
you.
think setting boundaries is a challenge. It's a challenge for me. It's been a challenge for all my clients that I work with. But over the years, I've come to realize that the more I own the value of who I am and what I'm doing, the easier it is for me to set boundaries, because I just have so many hours in the day, and there's lots of, I guess, ways of doing that. I'm starting to focus on like, what's the one thing that I need to get done today above everything else, and do that first. Then after that, it's easier for other things, to fall into place. So that's part of what I do. But I think it goes back to really valuing yourself, valuing the things that you're doing in your life, and because we give time and attention and I'm trying to think of the word, but we give time and attention to things that we value. So if we're not valuing ourselves, then how are we going to do the things that we need to get done?
Yep.
Now, one thing that's really made a difference just recently for myself is the passion test. And going through the passion test and seeing the areas that I really am passionate about, and I know I am, and then rating how much time I spend on that.
Oh, that's great.
How the time that I spend relates to the percentage of the passion. And I realized that that's when I realized I was really out of balance with it. And with the change in the dynamic of my husband's health, now I can look at it and say, wait a minute, my priorities have really changed. It's not about supporting his every need. It's about, okay, now these really are important needs for me. My creativity is on hold, my freedom, my goodness, my freedom's been gone for 5 years. So, I'm thirsting for freedom. So the passion test, I think, is a really good place to look at what is important to you and how you are spending your time so that you can make some changes in that.
Joanna, what do you feel is being lost right now? Do you feel like it's your own personal time that's falling off the plate that you're missing and feel not supported, or is it because you're really getting behind in the business part?
I feel like I'm being overwhelmed with things I want to do.
I'm sorry, we lost that. I didn't hear. You feel like what?
It's just overwhelming, the amount of things that I need to do. It's just that. Yeah. I don't know how to go from like where I want to go and do everything all at the same time. I think I need to edit some things out of my life, but I'm not willing to do that yet. So that I think that's where I am now. It's just overwhelming. Yeah. I don't think, because I've been very clear about my passions for a long time. So it's just a matter of really being an essentialist, I think, like cutting out things that don't. No, a lot of the things are important, but things that are less important. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I love the part in the passion test where it makes you choose, so that you think that these 15 things
Right.
are important to you, but then they put it up, this or this, chocolate, vanilla, choose. And it isn't that it's a choosing forever, but it's choosing now so that you can make progress and then see in 3 weeks or a month, Joanna, if you made those choices, are you actually making progress in those areas because you are putting, as Marilyn said, the time in to those.
Great.
Oh,
Go ahead. Mayumi. Go ahead, Mayumi.
Yeah, I was going to add, I'm a creator dynamo as well, and this is probably one of the greatest struggles for our profile.
We're getting some
feedback.
Where's that coming? Okay. All right, go ahead, Mayumi.
Yeah, so there's a process that I've used that for me creates, anytime I have the experience of overwhelm, I'm getting that feedback loop too. It wasn't there a second ago. Looking for headphones. I'm not finding any.
Okay, go ahead. Just talk. We can still hear you.
Okay, so if you were to, so overwhelm is kind of a state that we often generate when we're not willing to be responsible for what we said yes to. And there's a way you can hear that and be like, okay, I'm going to punish myself. I'm not responsible. And that's not that's not what I mean by the word responsible. When we say yes to something and we give our word to something, then there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. And if we look at it from the perspective of every yes has my time that is required, some investment of my time or another's to fulfill on that yes that I just gave, then we will look at and treat all the things that are on our list a little differently. So anytime I get into a state of overwhelm, I stop the action because we can't operate on top of overwhelm. It just doesn't work. And I'll get a blank piece of paper. I'll get something that will enable me to just do kind of a brain download and get all the things that I know I want to do that are in my head, out of my head and down onto a piece of paper. And then if it's really, like I've really gotten myself where I've said yes to too many things and it's really that significant and I can't take that list and compartmentalize and prioritize effectively, then I'll go to the second step, which is it's a pretty involved process. It probably takes me at least a day, sometimes 2 days to go through this whole process I'm describing. And what I'll do is I'll literally take my calendar. You can go to Google Calendar or whatever and print out a month on one sheet. So it's got a month printout for the next like 3 months, 6 months out. And I will take all the major categories of stuff that I wrote down on that paper. And I'll put rough timelines, estimated number of hours it's going to actually take me to do that thing. And then I go to my calendar and I X out all the places I know I'm actually not available to work on these projects. And then I write how many hours there are left. And I say all this because what happens when we get overwhelmed is we get disconnected from the reality of what we said yes to. And so this is getting us more connected to the reality of what is it really going to take to do this. Now, of course we can delegate. Of course we can get partners. I mean, there's always a million ways, but what this does is it wakes me up. And it forces me to look at this list, and I have this reality check where I literally go, there's literally not enough hours in the day from now into the rest of this year to do everything that's on this paper. And because I'm responsible for what I said yes to, then the choosing becomes easier. But what's powerful about this, for me at least, is that the overwhelm disappears. The overwhelm disappears. His state of overwhelm disappears. It's a state of being. The minute I got responsible for, okay, how is this all going to get done? Not that it got done, but that I was now willing to be the one. I got to own what I said yes to. And in a lot of cases, what ultimately happens, and you said this, is that it gets really clear what to edit out. What I'm not going to do ever, what I'm not going to do right now, and what I am going to do right now. And then once you get that, what I'm going to do right now, then you know exactly what to do with that process from there. So that's just the process I go through. But overwhelm is a really great red flag for me. If ever I find myself going, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm like, nope, time out. I just stop being responsible for my word, and I start using this process to get myself in a state of, okay. And once you're back there, you're all good from there. Yeah. You'll know exactly what to do.
I love what you said about the responsibility. Thank you, Mayumi. That was really, really great. So Lynette, you wanted to say something else, so thanks a lot, Mayumi.
Well, first of all, it's lovely, all the things we've said, and I'm a little note taker, so I've got some little notes here. So for Johanna, I fully understand, because I'm someone who does 10 million things at once and then does nothing. And so what I've had to learn is to get my act together, which is a learning process. And I think I'm way older than you, and I'm still learning, but I've got some little notes. So the first thing to do is breathe, which is what Ruby does at the beginning of our sisterhood session here, is just take, and I say do the deep belly breathing, like breathe right into your belly, hold it for a few seconds, and breathe out slowly. Because what that does, number one, is it slows your brain down, and it lets you become proactive as opposed to reactive. The other thing is what Deborah said, totally agree with Deborah from Texas, I feel like singing a little Texas song, is value yourself. Value who you are, and that what you do and your time is important. And I love what Mayumi was saying about the calendar. I have a month calendar, because otherwise I'd be lost and I'd overbook myself as well. So when you're looking at what you have to do, work out what things are urgent. What things do you have? Like for me, I've got to pay a bill. That's urgent, because if I don't pay my electricity bill, I'll have no electricity. So work out in your life what are things that are urgent and have to be done. And like Mayumi says, put them on your calendar whether it's an electronic one or I'm paper and pen because I'm old school. And then the other thing to do is prioritize what you're doing. And since you're an artist, get out all your beautiful colored pencils or textures and do a mind map. Have you in the middle, and then put all your dreams, desires, wishes, what you want to be creative, what you're doing with your real estate, what you're wanting to do with your, and I can never say entrepreneur, but you know the word I'm trying to say, and make a mind map of all those things. And then from that, prioritize what's most important for you that you can actually take action on now. So that would be something there. I think I'm nearly finished. And I think also what Jan Rose was saying is you have a choice. So, and the biggest lesson for me, and like I'm over the halfway mark in my life, but I'm making the most of every day, is, and this has been the biggest and hardest lesson for me to learn, is to learn to say no. And it's okay to say no to some things. So I think that's it. And I hope some of this can help you all.
So Joanna, there was a lot here, okay? So if you want to hear it all again, this will be all in the Heart of All Women. And I think it's very interesting. There was two things that you said that I think is very revealing. One of the things you said earlier is that you know you just have too much, but you said you're not ready to let things go yet. Okay? I heard you say that. But the fact that you brought this up and you're receiving all this, all this information from everyone and all the support from everyone, all right? So I think that's very revealing itself. So even though part of you is saying, I'm not ready to make a decision, so I would say that I'm here to support you to do whatever you are really comfortable moving, whether you're ready to do that this week or a month from now.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's part of our support, right? We don't want to push anybody because we know how it is. Well, because on the one hand, you asked for it and then you said you're not ready. But the fact that you asked for it and hearing all this, I think that also leaves something else. Okay? So we would love to hear where you are next week or whenever. And you receive this support and you take action on all these wonderful suggestions everybody give you when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I've also taken notes of everything that we've talked about today, and I will get back to you guys when I feel like there's something significant like to report. But thank you, really. I appreciate even just the energy I'm getting from everyone from all over the world in different time zones. It's amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
And you know, don't feel like you have to have something significant to report. Okay? Because again, this is not that kind of intense. This is not an accountability mastermind. I don't want you to not show up next week or the week after because you feel like, oh my God. Remember, this is not what we're about. We're the feminine supporting, nurturing, okay? So next week, you can even just show up and say, I haven't done anything, but I'm still just sitting with it right now.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a really important part that we need to support each other as real sisters. You know, no judgment. No judgment about where we are on that linear line of accomplishment.
I like that. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay? No judgment. Yeah. So Lynette,
go ahead. Butt in and share something else too. The other thing, it's all about just taking little baby steps at a pace you're happy with. And just to give my example, like I'm super excited, my book's nearly finished, but when I started it in my head, I was going to have it finished in January of this year, and now it's September. So and I had a little moment of beating myself up, but then I thought, you know what, it's all about the journey, and it'll finish when it finishes. And so it's don't beat yourself up, and as Ruby says, you do it at a pace that suits you when you're ready, and you'll know when you're ready, and sometimes you'll do it consciously, and sometimes you'll just do it without, and then go, oh my God, I've just done this, or I've made a choice, or I've let this go, or so be part of the group, and you do it at your pace, darling, and breathe.
Right.
Thank you.
I'll be quiet now.
Breathe.
You know, this whole thing about sisterhood, okay, because was brought up a lot, right? And I want to just express my appreciation for those of us that's been part of this Heart of All Women, is I really got the true sisterhood when we brought up to each other, and when they brought up stuff to me at one point that was not working. Okay? And it was brought up in love and was brought up in true support. All right? So that's what I'm going to say. Maybe when we close off today, all right? Because well, this is what happens when girls get together, right? We keep on going for another couple hours if we wanted to, right? But I do want to respect the time. So we have like a few more minutes, or 5 more minutes or so. Maybe we can close off by each of us saying what we would like sisterhood to be. Okay? Mm-hmm. What we would like from the support of sisterhood, here and other places. Because part of what we would like to do, being leaders and mentors, let's bring that sisterhood outside, everywhere in our lives, right? Let's have that intention. So I'm just going to say my sisterhood request, my desire is really allowance, no judgment. We're there to support each other, but then we don't, have an agenda that it gets done or that my advice is taken. Or that it's okay if I don't take somebody's advice. Or that it's okay if it takes me a little while to get it. That's what I would like from sisterhood. So who would like to go next is what you would like. Go ahead, Marilyn. What would you like from sisterhood?
Well, I would like to say that I feel like I experienced it. I experienced sisterhood in this gathering. Johanna brought up a question, a problem in her life, and she was given suggestion without judgment from us. And she can take it or leave it. But I really feel grateful for having experienced some sisterhood.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to see from sisterhood?
No, just keep saying good stuff.
All right, great. So who else would like to share what they would like to have from sisterhood from us here, and how you would like to see it out in our whole world? Lynette, go ahead.
All right. I think it's acceptance. Oh, we're all echoing now.
Oh,
okay. So acceptance of ourselves and acceptance of others just as we are.
I just took a big breath for that. So who else? Who would like to share next?
I want to second that, or third, fourth, that notion of no judgment. But at the same time, I want the ferocity or the fire to be also in the sisterhood. So something that has both the softness and the warrior spirit that I know is very much part of divine femininity. So those two things.
So you brought up something that I think is really interesting. So I think that if any of us feel like, okay, we got to bring in the Kali sword, right? So part of sisterhood is that we have an understanding. Maybe sometimes we have to ask for permission to wield the sword. Okay, I think that's often the blow of the sword, right? Literally say, I want to do laser. I want to do laser focus with you. I want to do laser kind of something like that, right? Or even if it's not asked, then part of sisterhood is that we understand that and we receive that. I'm really glad that coming up. Yeah, and I agree. But I think none of us are too softy here, so.
That's true too. Yeah.
Okay, so who else? So Deborah or Mayumi? What would you like to see from sisterhood here and every place else?
I guess I'm still thinking about that.
That's great. That's such a good question.
I'm not sure. This has just been such a joy to hear everyone and their sharing and I have always felt like it's very important not to be judgmental, but to be willing to not only own and accept where I am, but to own and accept where other people are.
Mm.
I might actually say I don't know. And it's interesting to me that I don't know. So, you know, I said I'm on this quest for leading from the divine feminine, and I can't answer a question that is a relatively simple one, I think. But I don't have an honest answer for myself there. I mean, I've 50 different things passed through my brain, but none of them really stuck. So I'd like to sit in the question a little longer and really see what comes up, and what emerges, really and truly. Because everything feels like in order to. Everything that comes up is like, well, in order to X, and just nothing resonates yet. So I'd like to sit with that question a bit.
That's great. So I believe Jen is probably trying to come back. So I'm just going to comment, you know, as we conclude, that a lot of rich, deep thing came up, right? And I would really actually like to bring this question up to the rest of the community at the Heart of All Women, which is a private women-only online sanctuary. Okay. So my women, so if it comes up this week, I would love for you to share it there. Okay. Well, just for us to continue with the conversation about this. All right. So this recording is going to be posted there, and like I said, very private. All right. It's not like blasted out to Facebook public. Okay. So it really is like a sanctuary. So for those of you who are new, I will invite you into the community. Okay. And like I said, I just welcome us to continue this conversation there, and any additional insights that comes up, you know, and who knows, Joanna, of all of a sudden you decided that you made you trimmed down your list. I'd love to hear that too.
I will update you. Thank you.
Okay, I can't tell whether Jan is coming back. So, anything else that anybody else would like to add before we say goodbye for today?
I got a text from Jan, and she's lost power. So I don't know if that's on her computer or what.
Oh, if she lost power, she's probably not going to come back.
So she's not going to be able to come back. So.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Because so anything else that anybody would like to add before we say goodbye and conclude?
Well, I'm just glad that I came.
Oh, I'm so glad that you ended up surprising me. Because you had said that you were busy today.
Yeah, thanks for your warm welcome. It's really appreciated. Enjoyed meeting everybody.
Oh, that's great, Mayumi. Yeah. Well, we have these, you know, every Monday at 6 p.m., which is Tuesday time for Australian Asians. And then we have another whole group with Americans and Europeans. Us Americans can go to both. I know that one is not going to be possible for you from Asia and Australia, unless you're really ambitious and want to, you know, get up in the middle of the night, which is certainly welcome to do. So, well, I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for, you know, contributing your heart and your wisdom and your love to the sisterhood. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So, Ruby.
Yes, hold on. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Where